Alright, so today I'm back with yet another chapter review, and today we will go over chapter 288, which is a bit of a short one. However, we got to see YUKIMIYA entering the game as he subs in for Igarashi, and right off the bat, he creates a team up with Isagi and Kaiser, and actually goes wild on the pitch. But I don't want to say anymore, so you will just have to sit back and watch to find out what happens. Also a bit of a shameless plug, but I recently created a Valorant channel where I will post some montages here and there. So if that sounds interesting, then be sure to check out my channel down in the comments. However, I'm really bad, and it's more of a side project, so don't expect any insane plays. Anyway, please leave a like and a comment as well as join the Discord server down in the comments. But anyway, with that out of the way, let's get into it. So for chapter 288, also called Death Game, we get right into it as we see Isagi leaving the crying Igarashi. Anyway, we then get to the bench where we see a special player starting to get ready. The commentators say that here we go, subbing for Gurumu Igarashi with his goggles, and powerful dribbling is, of course, none other than the street dribbler Kenyu YUKIMIYA. And I'm so happy to have him back in the game as it feels like it was ages since we last saw him on the pitch, as I don't think he played in the Ubers game. Anyway, we see that he's taking the left wing position while Ness is left, occupying the right side. YUKIMIYA then really coldly starts to adjust his glasses as he says that the Apostle of Victory is coming into the game. Now, in my leak video, I was kind of lost on what he meant, but a lot of people actually told me that apostle in Greek meant messenger, and that YUKIMIYA tried to say that Jesus had given him the task to deliver the miracle of victory. And if that is what he meant, then I'm not going to lie, but it goes extremely hard. We also then just get a small panel of Isagi eyeing YUKIMIYA, but as he is eyeing him, he says that with YUKIMIYA on the field, the breakthrough power on the left side will explode, and instead of defending, they are adding an offensive player. He then looks at Noah and thinks that this is Noah's way of giving them an order to end this game as fast as possible. After that, his eyes starts to fire up as he looks right to YUKIMIYA and says, "Let's go, and to win this game." As he says that he thinks that other than victory, he doesn't need any other outcome, which we have clearly seen lately as he's even willing to work with Kaiser to achieve victory. YUKIMIYA, who's also looking extremely cool, just says yeah and calls Isagi an egoist, which is always dope to hear. We also got a small panel in between where we see the bench where Corona is looking the other way. But even then, he has his hand on Igarashi's head and is comforting him to the best of his abilities while he has his face in his hands and is just crying more and more as he's probably thinking about all of the chores he will have to do back at the temple. But now we luckily leave the rat and instead go over to the goat Gagamaru, who says that it's a certain victory for bastard Munchen as he sends the ball flying into the air and with that also restarts the game. The one to get hold of the ball is none other than the sub in YUKIMIYA, who traps it effortlessly. However, we do see that he has a hungry and furious Tokimitsu right behind him, who's slowly but surely closing his distance to YUKIMIYA. We then see two small panels with both Isagi and Kaiser faces, and Isagi just says, "Here," and with Kaiser, saying that they will build a rationally and destructively three-way relationship that leads to a victory. Kaiser sneaks up on YUKIMIYA's side, and to get rid of Tokimitsu, he decides to pass to Kaiser, who keeps it going as he sends it over to Isagi on the other side. Isagi thinks that YUKIMIYA's dribbling spear tears through the enemy while he and Kaiser quickly and logically think up the attack. Isagi then sent back the ball to YUKIMIYA, who was really in trouble though, as he had both Zantetsu and Shido right ahead of him, not to mention Karasu a bit back, who we actually get into the mind of as he looks at the fired up bastard Munchen annoyed while saying that more troublesome guys showed up. He looks closely at YUKIMIYA, who's just gotten to Shido and Zantetsu. Anyway, he says that YUKIMIYA's dribbling allows him to get out of a pinch anywhere, while the whole bastard Munchen coordinates with him like a perfect accelerator. Continuing his thoughts, he says that if he breaks through, his speed and tech will be targeted, and Karasu knows that it's that moment that he has to take advantage of and hunt him down, and his master plan is to coordinate with him to then steal his pass to Isagi. And that's what he does as we see that Isagi is going into a clear spot to receive a pass. But that's when out of nowhere Karasu gets ahead of him and blocks him. However, is someone like Karasu really going to stop the furious YUKIMIYA? Well, of course not, as we see right here. And instead of passing to Isagi, he gets close to the two of them and then side dribbles behind them like it's nothing. Hey, it's Natsu mid-editing here, and I just wanted to pause the video to ask you to subscribe if you haven't already, and while you're already down there, why not leave a like as well? Even the analytical Master Karasu is left speechless as he looks back at YUKIMIYA, who's just managed to get behind him and fool him, saying that he faked that he was going to pass and used Isagi as bait and cut through by himself. After that, we also see him actually destroying the ankles of more PXG players, as it looks like he's dribbling through air. Anyway, we then see Isagi, who has an extremely shocked facial expression as he's left behind and thinks that Yukimiya linked with him and Kaiser to then in turn make himself shine. His face then right away turns into amazement and excitement as he says that it's awesome and compliments Yukimiya's play. And the end text says, egoists, outwitting and competing. Now, as you might have noticed, this chapter was insanely short, and I couldn't agree more. There were only 8 chapters to go over, and I tried to make them sound as interesting and exciting as I could, as I know that a lot of you have been waiting patiently for the next chapter. However, this week's chapter was short due to the mangaka, otherwise known as Nomura, and his illness. Hopefully, he will recover safely and fast, so that he can be back and continuing with this amazing story like usual. But let's all wish him a speedy recovery. Now to some more sad news. I have to announce that the next week will be a break week as well, so no leaks or new chapters next week. I don't have any information after that, but hopefully the series will be back to normal 16-page chapters, as it's really an unfortunate time for the story to take a break, as it's very wild right now with YUKIMIYA entering and completely destroying the field. However, let's quickly talk about this chapter. Now we saw YUKIMIYA destroying guys like Shidu, Zantetsu, and Karasu. However, we didn't see any Rin or Charles, so I'm thinking that it's going to be one of those two to get in his way in the next chapter, because let's be honest, there's no world where YUKIMIYA can just enter the game and run through the field to then just score. Don't get me wrong, it would be kind of cool, and I'm not sure if I would hate that, but I'm sure that the mangaka is cooking up a special goal for the last one, as that's what this game really needs. This game needs an insane goal to seal off his game, as a normal and classic goal isn't going to cut it, I think, or that's at least from what I have gathered from some comments I have seen, as they have said that due to this game feeling really dragged out, there needs to be an insane ending, or else they feel like it was a letdown. Now personally, for me, I feel like we have gotten so many insane moments in this game, so I'm not expecting too much, as this game has already exceeded my expectations. But with that said, I wouldn't say no to an insane goal. But even then, I feel like my favorite moment from this game will forever be when Isagi just went straight up savage mode and declared war on not only Loki, but also Noah, who we all know is the best player in the world. I recently just reread this game to remember everything, and that moment just stands out to me as it kind of caught me off guard, and we have always known Isagi to be wild, but I didn't expect him to say something like that, not right now at least, but I'm so glad that he did, as it's definitely one of my top 3 moments in the whole series, I think. Also, before ending it, I want to say that with YUKIMIYA entering the game, it means farewell to none other than the other speedster, Neru, who's still on the bench and hasn't gotten to play a single match in the Neo Egoist League. Now if we are being honest, it shouldn't really mean that much as we have almost never seen him, but I still really enjoyed his character, so it's a bit sad. Anyway, if you like Blue Lock and videos like this, then I would highly suggest you subscribe to this channel, and while you are at it, leave a comment and a like, as it helps out with the algorithm a ton. And if you are curious to see another video of mine, then please watch the video that will be popping up on the screen now. Anyway, thanks for watching and have a great day. Bye.